What is up, YouTube? This is The Real Hayden here, back with another exciting video. Let's get straight to it. Today we're going to be talking about Knives Out, the very first one, 2019. There's a third one coming out this year. I'm starting to really love the concept of these movies, how they just have their own little cool little unique cast and crew, and they got to figure out which one of them's a killer. This one stars Chris Evans, Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, Martha, or is that her name? Was it Martha? I can't even remember who played her. It was something like that, Martha. But and then it stars Michael Shannon from 8 Mile and The Night Before. That's what I recognize him from. This is a very fun movie, man. It starts off kind of slow, but it comes together at the end. And I do like this movie better than Glass Onion. This movie, I thought, had a better story, better characters. I loved everything about it. So it starts off, there's an 85-year-old man who somehow his mother's still alive. It's basically, he writes out his whole family from the will and everything. And they got to figure out who killed him, like it's a murder mystery and everything. And he has a caregiver that accidentally mixes up the medicine bottles, or someone else does it for her. And yeah, it's kind of a mess to explain. Like, she mixes them up, but I think she gives him the wrong one, but she gives him the right one, come to find out at the end. And he ends up cutting his throat for no reason to make it look like a suicide so she doesn't get in trouble. And he leaves all his assets and his will to his caregiver. Instead of his family. They all freak out and go off on the caregiver. And then Ransom is trying to help her throughout the movie, or so we thought, who's played by Chris Evans. And he played a good villain towards the end of the movie. Like, at the end, he flips out and tries to stab her when they find out it's him. And he tried to stab her with a retractable knife, so it didn't really work out. And Benoit Blanc I liked him better in this movie than I did in Glass Onion. I thought this was just a better cast. A lot more entertaining. Michael Shannon played Walter. Harlan's son, which he was pretty entertaining in this role. He played Greg in 8 Mile, Eminem's stepdad. But I enjoyed this movie, man. It made me laugh a couple times in the movie. All types of stuff's going on in this movie. Like, she's sneaking out of the house to make it look like she doesn't know what's going on, and Ransom turns out to be the one who killed, or so-called killed, or tried to kill the grandfather. And this movie is kind of a mess, but it's easy to understand once you watch it. It all comes together beautifully at the end. There's so many scenes in this movie that were entertaining. The car chase scene, how her car wouldn't go over like 60, and Benoit Blanc's like pulling up right beside her, telling her to pull over and stuff, and she's still trying to get away. And it's kind of more of a twist than Glass Onion. Glass Onion was more obvious than this one. It really was. Glass Onion was more obvious than this one. This one had more of a twist to it. The characters are very entertaining. Michael Shannon as Walter, he was entertaining. Chris Evans as Ransom, probably the most entertaining character to me. Martha, whatever her name was, she wasn't the main character. She wasn't really the most entertaining. Some people think that it should have been from Daniel Craig, Benoit Blanc's point of view. But I found it to be entertaining either way. This movie currently has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, as Glass Onion has a 91%. And I thought it would be kind of hard to top Glass Onion. I thought this was going to be disappointing, but no, it was great. And I'm excited for the cast in the new one. I really am. But this movie is a fun watch. It's a great murder mystery. I love the concept of it. And how they can just have their own unique characters and everything. And they got to figure out which one of them's a killer. It's just such a great concept that's not really spoken of. And this one was made as like kind of a standalone, and then Netflix picked it up. And they're making it into a franchise, which I'm excited about. We need something new and fresh. And I kind of feel like, I don't know if it's new and fresh, but it feels fresh. But just such a great franchise so far. Both movies were killer, Glass Onion and Knives Out. I'm trying to think of some more memorable points. There's a point where she's like climbing down the ladder from the house, and then the 85-year-old's mother, which is crazy, she's just like standing there looking out the window, and she says Ransom, because I guess she can't see or she doesn't know what's going on. Which comes to find out he was already there that night. You'll have to watch the movie to really understand. He was already there that night and everything, and so that was a clue in the movie that I really thought about. I was like, that's kind of odd. And he turned out he was all happy whenever they announced the will that it was all going to the caregiver. He was all happy because he had found out nights before that everyone was cut out of the will because he was disappointed in his family. Like, he had threatened. They all had a motive to kill him. Like, he had threatened his son-in-law that he was going to expose that he was a cheater to his daughter and everything. And Chris Evans was the son of them. Harlan's son-in-law and daughter, he was the son of them. And he was likable, so it kind of sucked that he was a villain but at the end, but at the same time, he did a good job at being a villain. It was something new, because you don't really see Chris Evans being a villain. But it was a great cast. I like how each movie they're going to give like a whole new cast to. That's a fun concept. But Knives Out was a great movie. I gave this a 9 out of 10. I gave Glass Onion an 8 out of 10. I think this was a better movie. And it was shorter too. This was only like 2 hours and 9 minutes. Glass Onion was like 2 hours and 21 minutes. Fun movie. And it's one of those movies I could tell that when you go through and watch your second or third time, you're going to pick up on things you didn't pick up on before. So I'm going to have to give it a rewatch at some point. Just such a fun movie, and it's a franchise I'm enjoying, and I'm excited to see the next one. It comes out this year. A Walking Dead Man or something like that's what it's called, a Knives Out mystery. But I'm just very excited to check that a series like this exists. I'm just glad it exists, because in Hollywood we don't get a lot of unique things these days. And Knives Out is on 4K and Blu-ray. Glass Onion had a Blu-ray. It was like a rare copy sent to the Oscars for a more seamless viewing for the audience, which just goes to prove that physical media is superior. But there's not many copies, but you can easily find custom Glass Onion copies, and I'm sure eventually the studios or whatever distributors might release it. But Knives Out, in my opinion, was better than Glass Onion. Even though a lot of people think that Glass Onion had a better cast, I think they did better with this one, with this cast. And it's a very fun movie. Go check out Knives Out. It's a fun movie from 2019. You pick up on little things. Like, there was a couple things I picked up on, like just little things. Like, she was using an iPhone XS Max, and I instantly recognized it, which was popular around that time. Just a fun movie. I love the vibes. The Martha, every time she lies, she pukes. And the detective, she basically didn't intend to kill him, but she thought she had something to do with his death because she thought she gave him the wrong medicine when someone switched it out. Which turns to find out she actually gave him the right one, but she thought it was the wrong one. Someone tried to, which was Ransom, Chris Evans. And the detective, Benoit Blanc, is wanting her to help him uncover the mystery, which he was suspicious of her the whole time because of her blood stain on her shoe. He found mud tracks coming through the window. There was a broken step, a ladder leading to the window in the room. I feel like there was something else to mention. She was like trying to walk over the mud tracks on purpose so he wouldn't see it was her shoe. But fun movie. I love the vibes. This is definitely a rewatchable movie because you're going to pick up on things for sure that you didn't pick up on the first watch. I recommend everyone go check out Knives Out. Fun movie. Glass Onion as well. It's fun. And keep in mind, you might not understand the first time, but if you have a good attention span like me, and you will, it will be worth the watch. Because originally I didn't even want to watch this because I was like, I just wanted to watch Glass Onion because the cast looked entertaining. But people were like, you don't have to watch this before Glass Onion, but don't skip out on Knives Out. And just like, and I took that advice. I was like, I watched Glass Onion first, which it was the second movie. I should have watched Knives Out first. But I was like, I don't want to skip out on it just because I want to watch Glass Onion. I ended up liking Glass Onion, so I checked this out, even though this was the first movie. It came out 3 years before. But it was a fun movie. Go check out Knives Out. 9 out of 10. Great movie. And yeah, go check out Knives Out. I love this stuff. Excited for the third Knives Out. Peace. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. And I'm heading out. Let's go.